Welcome to the Black Panther Corner with General Mellie Queen. How's everybody doing today? Today is September the 11th, 2020. We are still commemorating Bloody September in honor and salute of our fallen comrades and the ones that are still being held hostage in their prisons, in their industrial prison complex. Our elder comrades need to be home with their families, need to be home with us. Please support them. Do what you can to help out. I want to say salute to all black media platforms and sisters and brothers speaking the truth. Salute to Sister Bantu Queen with Bantu FM radio broadcasting out of Zambia. We are African culture, revolutionary talk shows, African news, African music, and more. Like, share, and subscribe to our pages and our social media platforms. I want to say salute to Brother Noble and his family in Colorado with Unity Community and Mile High News. Support and donate. Salute to the Vanguard's Online Academy. We are open for our fall classes. If you're still in limbo about home education and what you're going to do with your babies for the school year, contact us at vanguardsacademy21@gmail.com and we will be sure to help you out. Today, we have some very, very special guests returning to the show, and they're going to be regulars every month, and I am so honored and excited. We have Mama Khandi, Mama Ayo, and Sister Sa here today. How you all doing, Queens? How's everybody doing?
We're doing wonderful. We're looking forward to being on the show with you on a regular basis.
Thank you. I'm so excited. We have a new platform, so we're gonna try this out. How's Mama Ayo and Mama Khandi doing today?
And by grace.
All right.
Yes.
Queen Mellie, greetings and free the land.
Yes, ma'am. I am so glad to have y'all here today. I know we commemorate Bloody September, and for some reason, I wonder why I didn't know anything about Bloody September. Now, I know about Black August, but Bloody September, I didn't even know that that had happened with the prison riot in Attica and all these different things, and I keep looking at things that's going on, and I say we're not repeating history, but the same fight is still going on. You know what I'm saying? Could somebody talk about Bloody September for me?
Well, free the land. This is Sama. I can't necessarily specifically talk about Bloody September, but I can talk about bloody all the months in terms of what we experience as African people and indigenous people all over the planet. And the reason why it continues until today is because we have not solved the root of our problem in terms of what is causing the Bloody Septembers and all the bloody other months that we experience. So that's our main responsibility. Is we've identified the issues. Now we have to eliminate our issues. And that takes internal work and external work. Internal work first, so we can be strong enough and focused enough and determined and dedicated enough and have the clear vision enough to eliminate the problems that dwell outside of us. I yield.
Exactly. Do you other queens want to weigh in on it?
You said you didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the elder Mama Khandi. You said
Yes, ma'am.
you didn't know about Bloody September. So,
No, ma'am.
what do you know about Bloody September now, or are you still learning?
I'm still learning. I know that they had a prison uprising in Attica for like 19 days, and that some comrades were murdered and prison guards were killed at the same time. But that's all I know about Bloody September. And they did it because of them killing George Jackson. So that's about all I know about it. Would you care to tell us about it, Mama Khandi?
Because I'm blind now and I'm unable to research and stimulate my memory, I'm almost in the same boat as you. There was a time when there were a lot of specific information, and I used to communicate with some of the brothers out there on the West Coast. But at this point, I'm kind of at a disadvantage for being able to update and maintain my immediate knowledge. So I'm going to yield.
Okay, I understand. I totally understand that. But I am learning, and as I learn, I will be, putting it on the show, because I want our people, to understand the importance of the resistance that our brothers and our sisters have the sacrifices and things that they had to make, being our true warriors first out there. I've been taking these emotional emancipation classes, right? And I see how important healing is to our people. And I see that if we're not going to heal, how can we build? And I see a lot of our people are I don't want to use this word, but they are resistant to this healing. I want to get you all's weigh in on that. We have to get to that point where we're all on that healing journey, right? But we don't have a safe place to heal. We have to heal and fight this war at the same time. Do you all feel we're going to be able to change what we need to change? Because I see a lot of people that are ready, but then I see so many that are afraid to make that change. So whoever wants to start can go ahead.
This is Mama Ayo. I'm glad you did speak about Bloody September, because I had in my mind's eye, I had already wanted to emphasize the importance of September. I'm going to just say one name, and then I'm going to answer your question. This is the month in September that we honor the legacy of Garvey, because based on Garvey, who was a student of Booker T. Washington and all the other great leaders of that time, everyone knows about his of course, his conflict with Du Bois and some of the other, what he called the petty bourgeoisie of the race. But based on Garvey's philosophies and opinions and the work of the UNIA, we then have what we call father of the liberation movement, Kwame Nkrumah. And although there is some controversy about his birth or his Earth Strong, it is somewhere around September 20th through the 22nd. So why am I mentioning this man's name? Because we now have what we call neo-colonialism, the last stage of imperialism. And we know that Kwame Nkrumah launched from the country of Ghana our move towards the total unification of Africa, which of course includes the diaspora and who we are in America. And his push was for scientific socialism, to unite the African continent in under scientific socialism, which is controversial for some people that don't understand what would be the antithesis of imperialism, capitalism, white supremacy. Of course, it's going to be scientific socialism from a new African or an African perspective. So based on that, we're here at this time trying to free the land. And we're not just talking about here in America, we're talking about from the tip of Northern Africa to Southern Africa into the Caribbean islands. So what does that look like, Queen Mellie? We have been dominated under capitalism and white supremacy, and I want to say a Eurocentric point of view. And so your question is something that all of us as healers, scholars, educators, women, men who are what we call taking the shackles off of our eyes, we need to be thinking about that, because some people are doing that self-work. But the question is, if you're doing the self-work, if you're trying to become a better person, if you're understanding that life is not the way it's supposed to be for African people, or anybody really, but we're focusing on ourselves, what do you do once you say, oh, I freed up myself, I'm a better person, I know who I am? Are you putting it to the service of the redemption of the race, to freeing the land? And I want to yield.
All right. Anybody else want to weigh in on it?
Mama Khandi, do you want to go before me, or you want me to go?
I'm still formulating, so by the time you said your say, I should be ready. Thank you, please.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I'm out here. In terms of healing, as healers, the goal in healing, to be able to heal, is to identify the problem and to eliminate the problem. I'm ecstatic that us as African people, indigenous people all over the world, are attempting to start our healing process. I do want to say it's extremely important for us, as while healing, to not hold anything back in that process. That process is not necessarily, it's ugly. And I will say, fighting this war that we're in, that we've been in for centuries, is part of the healing process. You have to eliminate the problem. If our problem is capitalism and white supremacy, we have to work diligently to eliminate the problem. And like Mama Ayo said, the complete opposite of that is communalism, is scientific socialism, moving toward that, getting out, stepping 100% out of the Eurocentric mind state, the Eurocentric way of doing everything, and doing the exact opposite. That's some real work. That's some real self-work. That's beyond just gathering information. That's applying what you gather. That's really owning and honing in on who we really are as a people on the planet, and our relationship on the planet and in the universe. What does that look like? What lies have we been told that we constantly live and we constantly spread in our conversation, in our interpersonal relationships, that feed that continue to feed this Eurocentric dominated world, because literally it still survives based upon the blood, sweat, energy of us as indigenous people. It survives because of us. So what is it that we're doing constantly to feed it? And we have to identify those things. Sometimes that's not ugly. We have to be willing to go through the storm to get to the eye of the storm, which is the peace. You know, and a lot of us don't like to be uncomfortable. That very uncomfortableness is a part of the healing. And we have to be willing to face it head on. That's what makes us strong enough to face it. And that uncomfortableness is our reality. We are extremely uncomfortable. War is never comfortable. And we have to remind ourselves that we are at war on every single level. It's not just one level, it's on all levels. Everything that we do, how we think, how we feel, is it in alignment with universal law and order, which is our culture? That is African culture. That is indigenous culture. Is universal law and order. So that's every day, all day. You know, that we have to be really, really, really cognizant and extremely aware and conscious of our dealings and our dealings with one another. And is that going to get us our desired result? If our desired result is liberation, 100%, and freeing the land, what are those steps, those internal steps that we have to take? What are those external steps that we have to take to get there? And we got to be honest with ourselves, 100% honest in our healing process. And we cannot straddle the fence on it. We cannot make excuses. We have to hold ourselves 100% accountable in all things. It's not just the healing. In healing, you take responsibility for healing, full responsibility. You can't just point the finger. Got to take full responsibility. And I'm going to yield for now.
Elder Mama Khandi here. Your question about healing. It's almost like, oh my goodness, where do we start? And I get the question of healing. And at the point that I am now in my life as an elder, I see constructive self-criticism being the first line of attack against selfishness, self-centeredness, and an inability to be constructively self-criticized. When we are able to constructively criticize ourselves, we end up banishing a lot of the psychopathology that we suffer from. If we look at ourselves first, look in the mirror. I'm blind. I look in the mirror. I don't want to see an ugly, selfish, jealous, envious, greedy, guilt-ridden sister looking back at me. I don't want to see a liar looking back at me. Because though I don't have sight, I do have insight. And we have to be willing to look at ourselves inside. That's the first thing. When I had 16 children, when I was raising the last set of 4, that was one of the things I used to drill into my children. And I didn't have to beat them or punish them. As a matter of fact, they begged me to punish them or beat them. Because I would make them sit down in front of their ancestral shrine and talk with their ancestors and with that person inside of themselves. And that was far more punishing, they began to realize, than anything I could have said or done. So it's an especially great place to start. And the other other thing I would say in terms of our healing is to look at one set of laws that, as a rule, not only as a people, but as global beings, we don't look at, and that's UCC code. UCC code is maritime law, and there's more water on the planet than there is land. It's twice as much more. UCC code deals with water, maritime law. And so there's some very interesting codes in those laws. And because water is the majority of my astrological element and in my reading for who I am and why I'm here, all of those elements are water as well. So I find a lot of self-healing in elements of water and the role that that plays in my life. And I see that for our people in general, our people, Black folks. I see that in general for us when we begin to look at all of the elements that are a part of creating us as a being on this planet. When we tap into those, we find that we're able to face the oppression that we are being subjected to. We're able to face the cruelties. We're able to face the things that would destroy us. But it makes it a little bit more difficult when we tune into those elements of ourselves. That's the first place to begin healing. At least that's the first place that worked for me and those that I work with on that healing level. I yield for now.
Ashe. Exactly. That's what I say. We must continue to be the generational curse breakers because, we need to do this. This is our time. I really feel like this is our reset. I see a lot of our people we need our own spaces. And I look at it like we're so damaged that we are afraid to trust each other. We're afraid to love each other, but we continue to love the oppressor, and I see how they continue to keep their foot on our necks. And then when you have some of us that do want to break away, create spaces for ourselves, so many of our people are afraid to let go. Is that fear? Do y'all think that fear is because I heard somebody say the other day that the fear is because they think that we can't do it versus I never thought of they are so fearful that we cannot succeed. You see what I'm saying? Because I look at it like as soon as we get away from these people, we're not going to do anything but flourish. But so many of our people think that we have to have them to breathe. Do you all think that it's because we are afraid of their success, or we just have never seen it before, so we don't know what it is? Whoever wants to start.
Well, this is Mama Io. Definitely. I'm going to quote Nkrumah again. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. And that is the number one, I think, psychological, if we want to use that word, barrier, is doubt, self-doubt and fear, and willing to just jump, willing to make that step. And I'm a true believer, we've been manifesting it, is that when you say that this is what you want, this is what you desire, it's not about just saying it. It's not going to be done by the process of osmosis. But with you saying it and putting your intention, just think about a collective intent. If I, as an individual, Queen Mellie, and all the other women around the world saying we want to free up and we want redemption, That's a spiritual essence that you put out into the universe, but it also gives you what we call the intent to work towards that. And one of the things that we find is because we've been so indoctrinated, it has to be done a certain way. It needs to look like this. You need to have this done. To step outside of that box is fearful. Because remember, we're trying to utilize the oppressor's ways and means in order to get up out of it. If we ask people, okay, stop buying all of this stuff. Start wearing just certain things. Stop using this type of makeup. Start going into more herbs and bush teas and vegan foods, vegan lifestyles. Do your hair a certain way. You're identifying yourself as a totally different being in the midst of everything else. All of us who are indoctrinated have bought into the okie dokie lie, and to be able to free up, even stop teaching our children the regular way. This is not the curriculum that we want our children to have in order to make them stronger, new Africans and beings on the planet. So that fear causes us to pause. It causes us to go back and reflect. Not to say we shouldn't, but it says, maybe I can't do that right now. Maybe I can't step out of this job. Maybe I can't stop doing this particular thing until you're ready. So I'm saying that fear is real. We recognize it as some of our blockages, and you got to chant, and you got to pray, and you got to meditate, and you got to push your way through to remove some of that fear. It's never going to be gone completely, but it's something that you have to work on. I yield.
Sama out here. That fear that we witness within ourselves and that we witness with our people, that literally is, and this is most definitely when that self-analysis, constructive critical analysis comes into play. We got to recognize that fear is slave mentality. That fear comes from the fear that was put into our ancestors and into us, and that's continually put into us on a regular, consistent basis. Because if it's the thoughts or the feelings that come at times, and we got to catch them, and we got to be really, really honest with ourselves and really work through them, because those are the same things and feelings that our ancestors have had, and that we still continue to feel anytime we want to just be ourselves. We weren't allowed to be ourselves. It was totally illegal. That was a death sentence to be yourself as an enslaved African. You can't be African. You can't speak your own language. You can't have a thought for yourself. You can't, That was death. That was, you will never see your child again. That was, your husband's going to get hung. That was trauma, major trauma. And so that has been passed on. We got to be real honest with ourselves. When we feel that fear, we got to face it and say, it's a lie. The fear is the lie. That's the lie that we have to break through. When we say we stepping all the way out, you got to be real courageous. Because it's like unthought of to just be yourself, to follow your heart, your spirit. Because if you do that, it looks absolutely nothing like what society deems is quote unquote normal. This particular society. So that's the battle. That's that internal battle that we have to face and get through every single day. Be extremely courageous when it comes to ourselves and when we have those feelings. Because when I tell you the cycle of trauma that has been ingrained in us on a DNA level, you know what I'm saying? We are our ancestors. We feel fear when we have a thought of our own, or we want to do particular things, and we have to be in the habit of doing it anyway. That's how we break through that barrier. You have to make it be the norm where I'm doing it anyway, period, right now. Despite whatever fear feeling because that's how we're going to break through that psychosis. That's how we're going to break through. So we feel like our normal African beautiful selves. So we can get back to feeling like, and get back to feeling strong, standing on who we are as a people without unapologetically, So that's that real work. I yield.
This is Elder Mama Khandi. I apologize. Fear, I throw in the same basket with all of this light negative energies. And I call the basket spiritual vampirism. And fear is just one of those elements. Selfishness, jealousy, possessiveness, envy, greed, guilt, anger, fear. And fear, as a spiritual vampire, just sucks you dry, like the tick, a flea, a parasite. It sucks you dry, and you're unable to develop a relationship with courage, or steadfastness, or an ability to be self-determined. He is that vampire that just feels all of that from you. So all our enemy has to do is find things that we're scared of. I remember laying in solitary confinement and going from 148 pounds to 76 pounds, dying at death's door, ancestors standing there looking at me. And had I been scared, I don't think I'd be here right now. But because I was not scared, they sent me back. We're not ready for you yet. Which was kind of funny in a way, because I was so sick and tired of being attacked by this lousy ass system that I was pretty much ready to go. This is a hell of a path that we're on. And it's protracted. It's not an event. It's not something that happens for a very short period of time and then you get to go and do something different. It's a protracted struggle. And every microsecond, every millisecond, every minute, every moment, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year, we're constantly fighting. And you can't afford to be afraid when your enemy and your oppressor is more committed to your demise than you are to your survival. I'm going to yield for now. I totally agree with all of you. It's scary sometimes, and like I tell my children, I said we all have that fear, but if you don't push through it, that's where the fear, takes over. We have to keep pushing regardless. I wanted to ask you all about the Republic of New Africa. What's going on new, and have you all had the elections yet? And I want to know, how can we keep up with the updates of what's going on with the Republic of New Africa if we are not an actual member? Because I want to join an organization. How do we keep up with the updates and things like that if we're not a member yet? So whoever wants to start, we want to know what's going on and about the elections.
That's a beautiful question, Queen, and we really appreciate you asking that. We want to let the listening audience know, first and foremost, we Africans here in America, right, on this landmass have considered ourselves, we are declaring that we are a free and self-determining people. That's happened since 1968, and I'm sure maybe some people are not old enough to remember, but this, as Mama Khandi says, this has been a protracted struggle for us to be recognized. Obviously, we were recognized because we were attacked. We were attacked by the state, and we have been recuperating, and we have been rebuilding. Right now, we are in the rebuild stage. We need to let all listening audience know that if you are an African person here, born in America, you are automatically considered a citizen. Now, whether you want to be conscious, which you talked about, Queen Mellie, you have to be involved, and you have to be willing to do the work in order to free the land, because we are asking, we are demanding, and we are saying that we deserve the 5 states in the South. We deserve it. Every 3 years we have elections. Our elections will be held the end of October 2020, right before the so-called U.S. elections. They will be held the 23rd, 24th, 25th, and because of COVID and what we call kind of a really low participation rate, we are going to be stepping up our information to new applicants, saying that all you have to do is prove that you're new African, which is you'll do that when you write to us or email us, and you have the right to vote. 1 vote per 1 person, starting at age 6. So we will be putting out information as to who is running for president, who is running for vice president, and depending on what state and district you live in, you will be able to vote for a local representative who will be on the People's Center Council to represent your voice. And so that the mail-in vote COVID right now, but you will be at least able to participate in who should be the next vice president and president for the next 3 years. And we have a lot of plans on board. You're talking to 3 people who are running. Mama Khandi is running for her district of Olentangy, Washita in Ohio. Ankh Maat is going to be probably the next person, if we vote her in. She will be the 2nd person in history since 1968 who could be a female president. And I myself is running for vice president. So you will be seeing a lot more information. If you want to update or you want to find out a little bit more, you go to the Facebook page entitled The Republic of New Africa, spelled with a K. And we want to post out some information. We'll have information about the National Election Commissioner, so you will have to write that person personally and ask for the ways and means in which to vote. And you, as we said, 1 vote per person, and those votes will be serialized in order to avoid fraud. So it's going to be a dynamic 3 years, because, as we said, as we rebuild and bring younger people into this movement, because this movement is about the redemption of Africa. We will be talking about, we will be putting out a strong reparations statement, and it will be based not only on our lives in America as chattel slaves, but everybody's lives that have been affected by slavery, colonialism, and now neo-colonialism. So, and it is a worldwide, as Nkrumah talked about, it is worldwide. We're talking about the redemption of a race, not just the redemption of a section of the race. So we're looking forward to it. We think we're going to have some wonderful, wonderful things happening, from education all the way to economics, all the way to, foreign affairs, all of it. So I want to yield and allow others to give you some more information.
Maat here, I wanted to just add on to what Mama Ayo was saying in terms of the provisional government of the Republic of New Africa and elections. First and foremost, the provisional government of the Republic of New Africa is just that. It's a government. It's not an organization. It is a government. And to tie into what you have been discussing on this show, Queen Mellie, in terms of our healing, this is the ultimate healing for our people, is 100% total independence and building on our own land independently, totally separated from any colonial master. So us, Black people in America, we have the Republic of New Africa as an option for 100% healing. We have to be, that's part of identifying our issue. If our issue is we still have a slave master and we are still prisoners of war, then based upon our human rights, just to be happy on the planet, enjoying all that nature provides and we provide nature, is being a part, is one with nature and communing with nature and with each other. To be able to do that, we have to be totally 100% separated from our enemy that is keeping us from our ultimate happiness and our ultimate peace and our ultimate ability to just be. That's how our healing process really starts, because it's very difficult to heal in an environment that's making you sick. That's impossible. That's a total 100% contradiction, and it's our responsibility. If that's what we truly want, is what we really truly want, this would be on our things to do list. You know what I'm saying? It's most definitely on our things to do list. We have to. We don't have no other choice. Okay. And there's many Black indigenous nations. The provisional government of the Republic of New Africa is just one. So if this is not one, there's many others. We have many indigenous nations. We have the UNIA. We have indigenous nations all over the world. Black people all over the world fighting for independence, because we know that is our solution to our problem. And that is the only way that we are going to heal. And it's quite simple. We make it complicated, but yet it's simple. According to international law, our human right is, if we have been oppressed as a people by another group of people, we have the right, our human divine right, to be totally 100% independent and separated from them and build our own nation. And that's what we are actually doing as new African people. That is our responsibility to our people. That is our responsibility to our ancestors. And that is our responsibility to our future.
Yes.
You know, if, we speak, we want to be happy, we want to be free, that's the only way. The only way we can even begin the healing process. So we can have thoughts of our own, so that we can follow our spirits and our ancestral guidance and our mission and purpose on the planet without being hindered. You know? So that's our responsibility. I also want to just encourage new African people, Black people all over the U.S. to really take this time right now. We have the opportunity, like you said, we have the opportunity to seize the time, because the ancestors, the creator, all the angelic forces of nature that said, boom, all the work that you have put in has been working. And because we are people of nature, people within, moving with nature, we're moving with the shift. The shift is happening. If we have to be extremely courageous and take those necessary steps, those things, those visions that come to us, and those ideas that come to us, they come to us for a reason. They come because we're supposed to be doing them. Not later, not next year, not 5 years down, like right now. Right now. Yeah. We have to seize the time now. And I'm going to yield for now.
Elder Mama Khandi. And I'm an elder, not so much because of my age, but more because of how long I've been doing the work in our people's struggle. It's really what an elder is. What you do, how long you've been doing it, why, which is your intent, speaks to your intentions. Provisional Government Republic of New Africa has existed officially for 52 part of a unit was doing study in reference to our government. I came into the study unit from the Black Panther, original Black Panther, Philadelphia, Susquehanna Avenue, as a teenager, as a Moor in Philadelphia, North Philly, and as a Garveyite, North Philly. I never ran for any official office in the provisional government. This is my first time, more than 52 years later, which means I'm a perfect example of preparing for leadership. There are those who think they can come into a government and just put their butts in a seat and they're magically and osmosisly going to know what to do and how to do it. It doesn't work that way. It takes time. Preparation takes time and a commitment to study, work, and train. So, as an example of that point, I usually like to see our people either become a part of a unit or create one so that you can study and work and train and be prepared to be an official part of the government. But the most powerful people in the government are the citizens. The citizens who are not elected or appointed, they are the roots. A tree is not nourished by its leaves or by its bark or by its branches. It's nourished by its roots. That's what units are to our government. They're the roots of our governmental tree that makes us grow tall and reach for the sky. So I just want to say that because all of us who are speaking now are ones who have been in this struggle for a very, very, very long time. It's important that our people who are new to this whole idea of self-government comprehend that preparing yourself is the most beautiful thing you can contribute to your government. You don't want to look like white people. They come out of nowhere, they run for office, and they just look like a damn fool because they didn't prepare themselves. They don't know what the hell they're doing, and that's not our job. If we want to do that, we might as well go and join our enemy's government. And at this moment, I yield. Thank you all. I'm looking at it, like I said, we need our own everything. And I saw a video that you did the other day, Sister Saw, about making deals with the devil, making these deals. And I wanted you to talk about that a little bit for me. And while she's talking about that, Mama Ayo and Mama Khandi, can you get a closing together for me? And I'm gonna let her answer this question, and then we're gonna get a closing from you all. And like I said, every month we be here
I want to have updates on Republic of New Africa so that we can keep our people updated on, what's going on out here and different things that they can, activities and things that they can get into, services if we can, have them to provide for them if that all possible. Is that okay?
That's fine.
All right. Thank y'all so very much. I have enjoyed you all. So, Sister Son, I want you to talk back there for, making deals with the devil.
Okay, well, I did the video, and when I say devil, I was referring to anything that doesn't serve us well, that doesn't serve our highest God self well, right? So that could be external, that could be internal. And I believe in the video, I initially referred to us making deals as a people with the U.S. empire, and then Black people all over the world making deals with these empires that have never served us well, yet we want to compromise and make deals with them to be a part of this. And that's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense. I also referred to making deals with the devil in terms of internally. We'll make deals with the devil, the demons within. Mama Khandi referred to them as spiritual vampires. We'll make excuses for ourselves. We won't hold ourselves accountable for certain things that we know we need to rid ourselves of because it's not doing us well, it's not doing our family well, it's not doing our community well, yet we want to make compromise and make the deal with the devil. We want to straddle the fence when it comes to these empires. We want to straddle the fence and we want to reform that which is unreformable. Like we hear discussions about reforming the police department. Why would you? How you going to reform something whose root is police department's root here in the United States is a slave catcher. The slave catchers, they supposed to catch and kill niggas. That's the reality. So I mean, yet we want to make deals and compromise, and we compromise our well-being if we want to. The devil is anything that makes us sick. That could be people. If it's people that make us sick, we want to compromise our well-being, and we are around folks that does not do us well. We make excuses. We make excuses for ourselves when we have bad habits. Somebody can tell us something that's a bad habit, yet we want to justify keeping it as a habit, right? And it's a real observation, yet we want to justify. So, and you can't justify your well-being. Queen Mellie talked about healing and being well. You can't compromise that. You have to do that which you harm, that does not do you well, and you eliminate. There's no, either you're well or you're sick. And we can constantly be in an environment that's sick. We can't constantly hold on to bad habits that make us sick. In short.
Thank you, and I totally understand what you're talking about. Like I said, and I wanted to touch on the treats for the soul. I saw that posted the other day about the vegan meals. That's with your Great Now Food Co-op, right?
No, those actually two different entities, yet it's all about food.
Okay, but it's just securing our food security and going back healthy. With the vegan recipes, are those recipes that you made?
Yes, it's me. I do food prep. I'm a vegan chef.
Okay.
Vegan plant-based food prep for those that want to eat healthier. I have cooked meals, and I have also raw food meals for those that want to do some cleansing, yet don't want to compromise taste.
Okay. So do you want to give us your information about that so that, we can share it with, because I know you don't do out of town or whatever, but, for near us. So go ahead and give them your information so they can contact you if they want to, try you out.
Yes, if anybody wants to, if you're in the Memphis area and you want to do some food prep, I will. You can go ahead and contact me at my email sahmaat@gmail.com, and I will send you the weekly menu. The menu changes every week.
Okay, all right. Congratulations on that as well. And like I said, I know that you all still have the Great Now Food Co-op, because we need the food security. We need to have these things. We need to put these things in place. African-centered institutions for our children. Like I said, I want each one of you all to give me a closing, and when we meet next time, we'll talk a little more. I have enjoyed our conversation. Thank you all so much for taking out time to talk to me today. And we can start with whoever wants to start, and we'll end the show, okay? Like I said, thank y'all so very much. I love y'all so much. I get so much information from you all when I talk to you all. I have paper just right everywhere. Okay, go ahead.
Well, this is Mama Io, and thank you so much, Queen Mellie, for inviting us and allowing us to just share our hearts and our visions with other new Africans around the globe. And as we say, well, my closing remark would also kind of reiterate everything that the sisters have talked about today, and to since I am an Nkrumahs, I am a scientific socialist, I need us to understand we got to step outside of a box. We've got to always be analyzing what does all these principles we talk about. We have a creed. It's called the New African Creed, spelled with a K. People can look that up. It'll come up readily. We have codes of behavior. If you look at Nkrumah's book, everybody can look it up, the Handbook of Revolutionary Warfare. It gives us a guideline on what do we do when we go amongst the people. We have a lot of people who are searching for answers, but the work, Queen Mellie, for all of us, and it's a daily work, I will never stop working until the day I take my last breath, is to work on yourself so you can be of service to your people, whether it's a co-op, whether it's being back on a farm. What does that look like? Because all we have as examples right now that's thrown in our faces is what we've had under this empire, this neo-colonial, capitalistic, supremacist empire. So what does that look like for us to come together as new African people and create our heaven where we say we want to create it? And our struggle is that we're on captive land. But if you think about it, everywhere the black man is right now, and you haven't declared yourself sovereign, and that even includes Haiti, we're still being controlled by oppressive forces. In order for us to shake this off, I'm quoting Nkrumah again, we have to act as one Africa. Even though we may not be on the continental land base, from South Africa all the way up to Egypt, we have to think of self first. And when I think of self, we're talking about the collective resources from land, because land is our power. Land is where the minerals come from. Land is how we're going to dictate to the world our economic visions and how we're going to treat one another as African people, because nowhere in this world right now is there heaven. There's really hell. And how are we going to switch that around? And the Republic of New Africa is here on the North American land base to work with all nations who have considered themselves independent. And we're talking about the indigenous nations who are really us. And Haiti, Cuba, anyone who's saying, we want you out of our land, we want you out of our lives, we want you out of control. And this is this time. I yield.
Elder Mama Khandi. Since everything that could be said has been said, I will opt to quote Kwame Nkrumah cultures acting together for the protection and the benefit of us all. Kwame Nkrumah.
I say, all right now. All right. Thank you. All right, go ahead, Sister Saw.
I just want to say I love black people.
I know that. They just put a fire in my chest so good. I feel good.
Yes. And I did want to say one thing that Mama Khandi mentioned earlier in terms of the elements. Remember that we are the people of the planet. We have all the elements that serve us and work within us. We have the power to heal and kill. And with all the elements have the power to heal. Water has the power to heal. It has the power to kill. Fire, the same thing. Earth, the same thing. And air, the same thing. It's all a matter of how we want to utilize them in this war. I yield.
I say.
Thank you, Queen Mellie. We love you, honey.
I love you all. I feel so good. Today is going to be an even better day. And like I said, thank you all so much. Y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all in a little while. Thank you, family, for joining us today. We have had a great time. We'll see you all next time on the Black Panther Corner. Ashe, Black Power, all power to the people.
You're listening to Bantu FM.
By the people, for the people.